Let's talk about one of the guys who is very underrated for the Chiefs, the 7th round draft pick that had a key role in this Super Bowl victory. And, if you're making a top 5 Super Bowl MVP ballot, he's probably on your ballot here. Let's talk about what he did so effectively. So, the running scheme, you see how the blocking is going to go here. You also see number 57 for the Eagles, who I've circled in white, TJ Edwards. They're leaving him unblocked because you can't block everybody. This is something you do on occasion, is leave him unblocked. But now, what does this mean? It means that you have to, put yourself in a position where you have to find a way to get past him. And that's going to be really kind of how this play is won or lost. And a lot of times this is on the halfback. We talk about the running game and we usually bring up the offensive line, which in this video we will be doing a good chunk of. Is at the end of the day, the offensive line is what matters. That's how this works. But running backs still matter as well, and watch what's going to happen here. Look at how when Mahomes gives the ball to Pacheco, you see the running lane that Pacheco is going to get through. Edwards does not take a great angle to Pacheco. That's what happened. He, I don't know if you can really blame him too much for it, but he doesn't take the best angle, and because of that, the way that this offensive line is blocking, there's just this huge hole for Pacheco to run through, because again, you need that, right? No running back can get yards if the offensive line can't do anything for him. But now it's time for Pacheco to come through. Now it's time for Pacheco to get as many yards as possible here. And watch what he does. He's just explosive enough to get through that gap, and watch him go as he's able to get the ball all the way to the 20-yard line. That's really good stuff from Isiah Pacheco. And again, the fact that he was able to make some of these plays, we kind of talked about heading into this game. While everyone's talking about Mahomes, the running game is still something that they have an advantage in, and the running game was a key factor in how the Chiefs were able to win this game. You also have stuff like this, where again, it's the explosiveness of Pacheco. That's the main thing when you watch his tape that stands out, is he is so explosive. He can kind of go from stopped to very, go accelerating very much, very quickly. He can do that. Great acceleration is what I'm trying to say. On this play, it's going to be a designed run to the offense's right, which is towards the left of the screen. You're going to have the left guard, Joe Thuney, and also their tight end, Travis Kelce, who are going to go out to block. Look at how when this play begins, you see it kind of fake as though it's a run to the offense's left. Instead, it's a run to the offense's right, which again is the left side of the screen is where the run is going. But you see right here, it's not a great situation. I mean, again, if both these two players can make their blocks successfully, you could gain some yards. But the reality is, in this spot, it's a hard block to make. You're rolling out that far to the outside. It's not easy to do this. So for Pacheco, how does he manage to turn this from a potential negative? I mean, this could be a tackle for no gain here. How do you turn that into a positive? Well, it's once again going to be that acceleration. Watch him get to the outside, and he is able to pick up an 8-yard gain on that one. And again, that doesn't sound like anything crazy. 8 yards, that's an okay passing play. It's slightly above average, yards per attempt kind of situation. However, it's still a very important play in the running game to be able to do that stuff, because it does. I mean, again, I know it's kind of a meme where people say, well, the running sets up all this stuff, and you have to run to set the pass. You have to run to keep your offensive line rested. Well, all that stuff does matter. All that stuff still does have an impact, and the fact that they could do that successfully, I think made an impact. Also, stuff like this, where now it's going to be a run to the right side of the screen, where, again, you see how it's supposed to work. You're going to have a couple players who are pulling over from the, from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen. You see the gap that Pacheco is going to try to run through. Look at how when Mahomes gives Pacheco the football right here, again, there's a way that this could go wrong. I mean, he has to wait for his blockers to get through, so he kind of has to time this perfectly. If there's a, quick tackle, potentially this could be a disaster. Potentially you could fail to get into the end zone right here. But Pacheco doesn't even get slowed down. He is able to get into the end zone, get the Super Bowl touchdown. A really good job by him, and these are the kind of things that he is capable of doing. And again, I touched on it earlier, but we should talk about the offensive line and what the offensive line was able to do in this one, which, again, we felt like was a mismatch. And not just a mismatch in the sense of they have really good offensive linemen, but also the Eagles will put themselves in spots like this, where you see the situation, the Eagles don't really have anyone who is free and can come in and try to make a tackle on this play, right? You see the blocking concept. Also, one kind of funny thing worth noting, left tackle Orlando Brown Jr., you think he's going to be pulling over? You think he's going to be, run blocking and moving from his left to his right? You can see how far he's standing up. I mean, he's standing up straighter than Mahomes is on this play. He's probably going to be pulling. You can feel pretty good about that. But even if you did read this and know what's coming, what are you supposed to do about it? Because they have such a light box on this play, which is, again, probably the proper strategy against Mahomes, right? And the Eagles just do this in general of they defend the pass first, and if you're going to try to run the ball consistently on them, they trust that, someone will make a play at some point and kind of stop you from being able to do that. But watch how when this play begins, I mean, you see just how well this is blocked. It's not just you have extra guys, but those guys are making their plays. I mean, Orlando Brown Jr., he's on the other side. He's not even running through the gap that Pacheco was going to run through. He basically isn't even in on this play. So you have a tackle not even really blocking, and you're still getting windows like this. Which, just to be clear, Orlando Brown Jr. doing his job. He's not like screwing up or anything. It's just, it's just kind of a funny situation. Brown is able to get through that gap. He is able to pick up a decent chunk play on that one. Again, another nice run. And again, getting these consistently was definitely a big part in how the Chiefs were not just able to win, but come back and win, right? They used this in the comeback. And in fact, the very next play, they went right back to the running game. Finally, this play, it's going to be, again, you see the blocking concept on the screen. Several ways that Pacheco could try to run through this, but he's going to try to go essentially what's going to be in between a couple of, non-offensive linemen who are blocking right there. You have a couple tight ends who are going to block, but that's kind of around where he's going to look towards. It makes sense, though, right? Because you're, Orlando Brown Jr., the left tackle, and also a tight end are going to be double teaming interior defensive linemen for Philadelphia. Then one of them gets up to block someone at the next level. So it's really that kind of key block, and he's going to try to run to the right side of the screen of that block. Watch how when he gets the football, that's kind of where he's running, right? There's a window, but it's not a huge window, and Philadelphia players definitely can reach out and make a tackle. And so again, this is kind of the situation where every play, the offensive line gives a halfback X amount of yards. This is how I always view it. Let's say on this play, they gave him 3 yards on this play. Okay, you have 3 yards to try and get something to happen. A bad running back gets less than 3 yards. A good running back gets more than 3 yards. How many yards over what I would expect you to get are you going to get? Well, watch Pacheco just fight through. Look at, he fights through all of those tackles. He gets 11 yards on that play. That really, again, was a fine blocked play, but it had no business being an 11-yard play. That's just the strength of Pacheco. And this is just the weird thing about drafting running backs, right? They draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round, and he ends up, not having the success that Isiah Pacheco, who they, would have considered, picking up as an undrafted free agent. And look at what he's able to do. And also this goes to show the great drafting of Brett Veach. I mean, getting 7 solid contributors in one draft is unheard of. The fact that they were able to do that is incredible, and it's why they're Super Bowl champions, because of guys like Isiah Pacheco, and also guys like Mahomes. That helps too. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.